my mini-series Beyond the 3D Realm. Today is episode 3, so if you've not checked out 1 and 2, definitely go and check those out after this. Today I'll be talking about hearing beyond the 3D realm. So, what have I heard from others? Obviously, I've heard a few people say that they hear whispers, they hear voices, and that's pretty much my same experience. As you know, I'm here to talk about my experiences, my stories of what I know, because that's what I'm an expert in, what I know, what I've experienced. So, what have I heard beyond the 3D realm? So when it comes to hearing, obviously we can hear in our minds, but I'm not talking about that that is very valuable. So don't devalue what you're hearing. When you hear in your mind and you know that's not your own ego, that's not your own mind voice, it's something else coming in, obviously that's completely possible. But when I say hearing beyond the 3D realm, it's hearing with my physical ears. I do hear whispers, I've heard shouting in my ear before, hearing bangs like in the other room. I guess this would come in, for example, like when stuff gets moved in my house, like I was in the other room and then in here my straighteners got chucked on the floor. I heard the bang and I come in and Sage was with me, so it wasn't the cat, and I'm like, oh okay, straighteners on the floor. I'm kind of used to this sort of stuff now. It doesn't worry me so much. Sometimes stuff actually moves in front of my eyes, and I should have spoke about that in the seeing episode. But for example, something moved in front of my eyes, like I have these like incense sticks under the table and they moved, and that was only a few days ago, which was quite weird. I find the more you sort of accept and you don't go into fear, the more stuff seems to happen, trust me. So if you want to have more experiences like this, honestly, just don't go into fear and you'll be fine. You'll start to have more experiences, will come to you, your whatever you want to call it, spirits, your higher self, things will see you as more open and meditating more and sort of raising your vibration more, so that you're able to sort of slip into those 4D, 5D dimensions. I guess helps as well. I'm no expert, I'm just here to tell you what I know from my experience. So I used to, a few years ago, when sort of I would start hearing things, it was more scary. I remember once in my old apartment, I was lying on the sofa and like as if somebody just shouted into my ear. They shouted, a woman's voice, my name, which is Leanne, and they was like, Leanne! Like shouting in my fucking ear. And that was terrifying. And again, I was in a relaxed state. I was just, I think, reading or watching something, lying on the sofa. This is when the stuff will happen, you know. Even last night, I was sitting watching an old Tiptoe Chick video who sadly passed away. And I only recently learnt about that, which sucks because she was one of the first witchy people I discovered in like 2010 or 11 or something. And yeah, so I'd been sort of re-watching a lot of her old videos, and I was just watching her videos late last night. It must have been 1:30, 2 in the morning, and I heard a woman's voice like whisper gently into my ear. It was inaudible. It was almost like it wasn't in English basically, but it was probably about 4 or 5 words, and I was really like, and it was quite quiet, and I was like, why? I want to hear what you have to say, but obviously it was very like, it made me, I think the other thing that didn't help, where I wasn't expecting it, because it was also when it's late, I don't do so well when sort of these things happen late at night, where I live alone and stuff. And as much as I say don't go into fear, sometimes I go into fear even now. And the only time I will do that is when it's happening really late at night like that. And then obviously where I'm alone and it's just can be a bit like, you know, when you're hearing a voice and stuff, or can be a bit much. It wasn't threatening, and I don't know, like it was, I'd never heard that voice before, but it was nice to have that, like another experience, I guess, because I hadn't had like sort of hearing whispering directly into my ear like that for a while. Once I was lying in bed, and this was back in my old apartment, I heard almost like it was in the room, but they didn't know I was listening or I was there. But it was like these two male, I think was Russian voices arguing. It just wasn't a language I understood, but it had that kind of Russian sound to it. And it was very aggressive and arguing, and like it was horrible, because obviously I didn't know what the hell was going on, because I can hear it in my real ears so loud, and I'm like, where is this coming from? There's no one in here. It was late at night again, and I was lying in bed, so that was a bit freaky. There's no way I can possibly remember every experience I've had for all of these videos. I'd just be giving you what comes to me at the time, because like I said, I've had quite a lot of experiences, so it's hard for me to remember them all. I don't write them down. I probably should write them down, but I don't write them down. So there we have it. Sometimes it's whispering in the ears, sometimes it's shouting in the ears, sometimes it's like voices as if they're in the room and they, you know, unaware of me. So that's where I think I'm sort of slipping into another realm in a way, when especially with the Russian voices, it was like I was slipping into their realm rather than them coming into mine. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I can remember right now for hearing beyond this realm, beyond the 3D realm. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would love to hear what you've been hearing beyond the 3D realm in the comments below, if you've had any similar experiences. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the other episodes from this series, and yeah, look out for the next one coming soon. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you have a great day.